grade levels. We'll have that throughout the year. I think it's about 30 sessions, we said, 30 sessions of health that they'll have throughout the year. So again, it'll be a good chance for us to try out some curricular materials, do some research, particularly looking at what some of the other surrounding communities, middle schools are using for curriculum, and really take a nice, slow process to really, look at this whole idea of comprehensive health for middle school. So this will be a first good year going forward. So we're really very excited about it.
Any questions, comments for me?
Just a couple of things. I actually like the Life Skills program. And one of the reasons why I like the program is because the emphasis is on building self-esteem. And that's the approach that I prefer to take than the anti-bullying approach. Just the two words alone, phrases, lend yourself to a more positive image when we talk about building esteem. And when you do that, you're taking away the power that bullies have. So you address that problem by making kids feel confident in the decisions they're making. And if we can empower kids to make good decisions or to postpone making decisions until they're confident, then all the other at-risk behaviors fall in line. It starts out nice and easy with building esteem, and then it goes into anti-smoking, which is appropriate in the 6th grade. Any of the issues with drugs mostly come up in the 8th grade curriculum, and so the progression in the grades, I think, is age appropriate. And again, this isn't the high school curriculum, so it stops at that point, which I think is a good idea for the first year the program's in place. I think that one of the best focus we can take is a multi-approach, where Pam alluded to bringing in the nutrition piece and advice from the health advisory, maybe the youth at risk. We have the opportunity to tap into the North Reading Police Department. And they know what the kids are dealing with and at what age and with what groups, and they can quickly jump in and cater a lesson to meet the needs of our community. And that's one of the reasons when it comes to the health frameworks, I'm kind of hesitant to jump into them too quickly because they're a one-size-fits-all kind of framework. And for the time being, local communities can still tailor. And so that would be my word to the administrators as you're going through this upcoming year, to not embrace the health frameworks, but rather embrace the components that reflect our community and what our kids are dealing with. And I think as far as middle school, this program is right on.
The other note I had made to myself, because we did speak earlier, at the end of last week, is there are places, like natural extensions, where we could do a cooperation with the police department in kind of an old DARE style fashion. The other piece, this I think also presents a good opportunity to do some formal online safety pieces when we have our online safety seminars coming up in the spring. That this is a really good forum for them to speak to kids at their level about what some of their activities may be online and how they can be protecting themselves and where they shouldn't be going. So those were a couple of notes that I think going forward, where we only have 20 sessions in a 30-day cycle, and in talking to the teacher, there's plenty of videos within the program. So if you look at them, they're saying 50 minutes per lesson. A lot of these sessions are easily going to take 2 class periods, especially with the 3-day rotation. So I think we're going to have more than we're going to be able to take care of in the first year. But it is exciting to finally get this up and off the ground.
Am I getting it right that these are for each grade?
Yeah.
This year, and then next year
We're going to use, I think we're going to focus on the 6th grade only this year. We're going to start that with all students because they have no foundational basis and the whole piece spirals. So if they had had it in 4th and 5th, then we would build 6th, 7th, and 8th. But seeing as our 7th and 8th graders haven't had any formal health instruction, we're going to start with the 6th.
It almost looked to me like you could do all of these at the same time with those 3 grades, because
you possibly could.
They're just each grade here is moving just kind of like a little more sophistication. So, but it's basically the same material.
I would
Right.
anticipate when she gets to the 8th graders in the spring and she's moving into the substance abuse, she may want to pull from the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, so then she's got a 3-day session as opposed to just a 1-day session, but giving them the information they're gonna need to go into the 9th grade and to progress. So the whole thing kind of fits together, and in some of the detailed teacher manuals, it will tell you that you can mix and match the modules, you can do one intensive, you can break it out over the course of the year, so there are options for the pacing of it. But they're all standalones, so whether she does a multiple session on one topic with the 8th graders or just chooses with the 6th graders to save some of those, because we're going to need something in the background for next year. She's got a lot of options going forward.
I wanted to ask about, is there a supplement for nutrition?
The nutrition piece, I think you've all seen it before, is we've got the Jump Up and Go.
Right, that's a great,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, that we've been working on. This will be year 3 of the Jump Up and Go grant. And a major component of that is nutrition. That's one thing I think we've been giving an appropriate amount of attention to, because it's something that's a natural fit to what's going on in any PE class. There's plenty of teachable moments to deal with the nutrition. I know Health Advisory, we've been extremely focused on nutrition. But I do believe one of the lessons, the sample lessons that Ms. Marks taught when she came in the fall to interview was in fact a nutrition lesson. So that seems to be where we have more than enough to take us through the year. I think the goal is to support it with a broader scope.
The thing I like was, we always talk about, read about 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, middle school, the toughest years for a kid, and there's a lot dealing with anxiety in here, and I think that that's just a key aspect of the health, it has to be a key aspect of the curriculum. Because, I think if you can deal with that effectively in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, then maybe, the problems aren't as bad in 9, 10, 11, and 12, and I was really glad to see a nice focus on that in here too. I think that'll be really helpful.
Jumping on those media messages.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
I definitely like that. There's a section in here, of just asking kids to catalog what they watch on TV
Right.
for a week. Note, if violence is used, how often, and what the effect would be in real life versus what happens on the screen. And just, there are a lot of different worksheets for different situations with, conflicts and advertisements and things, encouraging students to really think it through and encouraging them to use critical thinking and think for themselves. Saying, what are they doing to make that look more attractive? What are they doing to make that seem like that's the right product to buy, or that's the right thing to do in that kind of situation? And I definitely applaud that. They
There are
can use
2
more critical
expansion
thinking
units
skills.
that go along with that idea as well, that we can pick up.
The one thing that I read through most of the 3 books, but I don't know if I saw anything on video games. And I think if you could expand the TV aspect of it to the impact of video games. I don't know exactly what the lesson plan would be for that, but they're just prevalent, especially among the 7th, 8th grade boys, maybe even the 6th grade boys. And I'd be really interested in seeing if there's anything we could work into that in the curriculum.
It's also popular with
Some of the girls.
38-year-old boys.
Right.
36-year-old women.
50-plus-year-old guys. But I can handle myself. I don't need any training at this
We
time.
can invite you.
Yeah, maybe you can invite me for that day. I can sit in.
This is another landmark, because we've been
Yes.
talking about expanding our health curriculum.
A long time.
Yeah.
Before I came
And you've
here.
been talking longer than I have. I'm sure,
Yeah.
so.
This is great. This is just awesome that it all fell in line, the schedule and the staffing too. It's important to have the right teachers in place, and now the curriculum. It
One
is.
more goal.
It's an important one
Yep.
too, I think, not just educating the kids on these topics or empowering them with confidence, but getting them talking about this in a setting with each other. I bet you they'll find that more of them agree with saying no than disagree. They just feel so disconnected. So,
John's much more expert on this than I am, but this is the critical age to catch them. And I think our next goal now is trying to capture something for the 5th grade, to start setting the table for the students coming up. And as I said, this program is also available for 4th and 5th so that's the next step.
I'd like to thank John too for, he's only been here for 2 months, and to be able to take the schedule where the time didn't exist, and to take this new program, because it was just approved in terms of the budget, to be able to hire a staff member and then to be able to make the schedule work so that we could fit health curriculum into the schedule for all kids.
Great. Awesome.
Okay, so this time, if I could have a motion to accept the new middle school health program curriculum.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Taka, second by Mr. Bowers. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thanks.
Thank you. Now, I can ask a favor.
Sure. You want these back?
At the end of your meeting,
Yeah.
that'd be great, so I can turn them over to the teacher and she can start
Have
planning.
enough for everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Report on opening of schools. Dr. Cody.
Well, it's just a brief report, and maybe Mr. Nelson has some comments as well. And school opened last week. It seems as though we never left, and students are back in classes. I had reports from all of our principals saying that it was an exceptionally smooth opening. And I think, again, it's to the credit of the staff for all of the preparation that takes place over the summer to get school ready. Our high school and middle school on that first day oriented our incoming freshmen, and in the high school and 6th grade in the middle school. And I think that's a wonderful opportunity for our students to be able to have, learn the run of the school and to be able to meet with the staff without having the upper class or the 7th and 8th graders there. Our kindergarten students on Wednesday and Thursday had orientation sessions with parents and their teachers, and then classes for our kindergarten students began fully on Friday. All the buses, I think, are getting to where they're supposed to be, and students are arriving on time. I've been around to all of the schools, had an opportunity to be in classrooms, visited the 6th grade on their first day, and the next day, a little 6th grade student stopped me in the class and, in the corridor and said, "You were in my class yesterday," and I said, "Yes, I know you. I'm glad that you remembered that." So this has been a very, very smooth opening. Had a chance to see the dismissal at the little school. Of course, we have the new traffic pattern there with a one-way street on Barbary, and that is working out very well. Students, parents are coming in and then going up just on the one-way, and that's in effect for the drop-off period, and also in effect for the pickup of dismissal time at the end of the day. Lunches are underway, and Carl, do you have?
I'd just make, one of the things we do to prepare ourselves for the start of school is to assess the readiness of the buildings, the grounds, the classrooms, and this might be an appropriate time for me to just jump in with some information about some furniture that we acquired for the middle school. For many years, we used to have a town meeting warrant that allowed us to refurbish furniture on an annual basis. And I think it was as high as $15,000 some years, and it was $5,000 to $10,000 other years. For maybe 3 successive years now, we haven't had furniture warrants, so we're needing to absorb that from our current funds. And we haven't done too much for several years, but over the summer, Mr. Fauché and I did a tour of the middle school here and found some furniture that we really felt needed to be turned over. I'm not sure if it was original to this building.
That it was.
It may have been. Most of these chair desk combinations were bent out of shape so that they rocked, and you're sitting there rocking. They were really at a point where we needed to remove them. So we did take that action. We were able to do so through fundraising efforts by the Middle School Parents Association. 100% of the cost of the 210 new chair